What's up everyone and welcome back to Mathematical Mindset. So right here we have this nice math Olympiad problem and we are to solve for the values of x. So the first thing guys we want to do is to simply apply this property to the left hand side of this equation that says if we have a minus b all square, this is equal to a square minus 2ab plus what b square. So applying this property we have that a is equals to x square and b is equals to 2. So hence we have this to be x square all raised to the power of 2 minus 2 multiply x square multiply 2 plus 2 square. This is equal to x plus what 2. So we have this to be x raised to the power of 2 multiply 2 is 4 minus 2 multiply x square multiply 2 is going to give us 4x square plus 2 raised to the power of 2 is 4, which is equals to what x plus 2. So the next thing we want to do right here is to simply rearrange and set this equation to 0. So we have x raised to the power of 4 minus 4x squared plus 4 minus x minus 2, and this is equals to 0. So we have this to be x raised to the power of 4 minus 4x squared minus x plus 4 minus 2, and this is equals to 0. We have this to be x raised to the power of 4 minus 4x squared minus x. 4 minus 2 is going to give us 2, so we have this to be plus 2, and this is equals to what 0. So the next thing we want to do right here is to apply the rational roots theorem. So we want to simply make use of the rational roots theorem. So all we have to do right here is to find the possible values of 2. So we are going to say the possible roots of 2 are, so the positive roots of 2, we have this to be plus minus 1 and plus minus 2. That is to say we have minus 1 multiply minus 2 is going to give us 2. Minus 2 multiply minus 1 is going to give us 2. We also have 1 times 2 is 2 and 2 times 1 is 2. So we have this right here. So we're going to test for x equals to positive 1. So we have this to be 1 raised to the power of 4 minus 4 multiply 1 square minus 1 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. 1 raised to the power of 4 is the same thing as 1 minus 1 square is 1. 1 times 4 is 4 minus 1 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. Minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2, and this is not equals to 0. So therefore, we're going to say x equals to 1 is invalid. So we are able to test for the first one. So we want to test for x equals to negative 1. So we have this to be negative 1 raised to the power of 4 minus 4 multiply negative 1 all square minus into negative 1 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. So we have this to be negative 1 raised to the power of 4 is 1. Negative 1 square is 1, so 1 times 4 is minus 4. Minus times minus is plus 1 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0, which is equals to 0. So therefore, we have been able to find a possible root, and that is x equals to negative 1. So we are going to say this is what? Valid. So we are going to work with this right here. So we have this root. So the next thing we want to do right here is to divide the polynomial, which is x raised to the power of 4 minus 4x squared minus x plus 2. We want to divide this by the roots, which is x plus 1. Now we note that if we have x equals to minus 1, we can easily rearrange this to be x plus 1, which is equals to what? 0. Alright, so we are going to divide this by making use of the what's long division. So we have x raised to the power of 4 minus 4x squared minus x plus 2. We want to divide it by x plus 1. So x divide x raised to the power of 4, we're going to have x raised to the power of 3. And if we multiply x raised to the power of 3 multiply x, we have x raised to the power of 4 plus x raised to the power of 3. So if we subtract this right here, we know that x raised to the power of 4 minus x raised to the power of 4 is 0. So we have this to be minus x raised to the power of 3 minus 4x squared minus x plus 2. So we want to divide by x. So if we divide by x, we have this to be negative x squared. And if you multiply this by x plus 1, we're going to have this to be negative x raised to the power of 3 negative what? X squared. So if you subtract this right here, we're going to have this to be minus x raised to the power of 3 minus x raised to the power of 3 is 0. Minus 4x squared minus x squared is going to give us negative 3x squared minus x plus 2. So we are going to divide one more time. So minus 3x squared divide x, we are going to have this to be minus 3x. And if we multiply minus 3x multiply x will give us minus 3x squared. Minus 3x multiply 1 will give us minus 3 what? X. So if you simply subtract this right here, we are going to have this to be what? 2x plus 2. So if you divide through 2x divide x, we are going to have this to be plus 2. So if we multiply, we have this to be 2x plus 2. And if we subtract, we have this to be 0, 0. So hence, we have the quotient to be given as x raised to the power of 3 minus x squared minus 3x plus 2, and this becomes the what? The quotient. Alright, so remember we already have the first root, which is x equals to what? Negative 1 right here. So the next thing we want to do is to simply apply the rational roots theorem one more time. So applying the rational roots theorem, we want to simply find the possible values of 2, and we have the possible values of 2 to be plus minus 1 and plus minus 2. 1 stands for x equals to what? 1. So we have this to be 1 raised to the power of 3 minus 1 square minus 3 into 1 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. So 1 raised to the power of 3 is 1 minus 1 square is 1 minus 3 multiply 1 is minus 3 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1, and this is not equals to 0. So therefore we have that x equals to 1 is what? Invalid. Alright, so we want to simply test for x equals to 2. So for x equals to 2, we have 2 raised to the power of 3 minus 2 raised to the power of 2 minus 3 multiplied 2 plus 2, and this is equals to what? 0. So we have 2 raised to the power of 3, we have this to be 8 minus 2 raised to the power of 2 is 4 minus 3 multiplied 2 is 6 plus 2, and this is equals to 0. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 minus 6 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0, which is equals to 0. So therefore, we have that x equals to 2 is what? Valid. So we have been able to find the second value for x. So the next thing we want to do right here, since we have the roots, is to divide the polynomial, which is given as x raised to the power of 3 minus x raised to the power of 2 minus 3x plus 2. We want to divide this by x minus 2 right here, because we know that x is equals to plus 2. If we simply rearrange this and set to 0, we have this to be x minus what? 2. So dividing this by making use of the long division, we have this to be x raised to the power of 3 minus x squared minus 3x plus 2. We want to divide by x minus 2. Alright, so from here we have x divide x raised to the power of 3, we have this to be x square multiply x raised to the power of 3, x square multiply negative 2, we have negative 2x square. So if we subtract this, we have this to be negative x square minus 2x square is going to give us x square minus 3x plus 2. So we simply divide x square, we have this to be plus x multiply x is x square, x multiply negative 2 is negative 2x. If we subtract this, x square minus x square is 0. Minus 3x square minus 2x is going to give us minus x. We then bring out plus 2. So if we divide this, we have this to be negative 1. Minus 1 multiply x is minus x. Minus times minus is plus. 1 times 2 is 2. And if you subtract this, we have this to be 0, 0. So hence, we have the quotient to be given as x squared plus x minus what? 1. So we have this right here. We have been able to reduce this to a quadratic equation. So we want to simply solve this by applying the quadratic formula that says x is equals to minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divide what? 2a, where a is equals to 1, b is equals to 1, and c is equals to minus 1. So we have that x is equals to minus 1 plus minus the square root of b square, which is 1 square, minus 4 multiply a, which is 1, multiply c, which is negative 1, divide 2 multiply 1. So x is equals to minus 1 plus minus the square root of 1 square is 1, minus 4 multiply 1 multiply negative 1. We have this to be plus 4, divide 2 multiply 1 is 2. So x is equals to minus 1 plus minus the square root of 1 plus 4 is 5, divide what? 2. So from here we have that x is equals to minus 1 plus the root of 5 divide 2, and x is equals to minus 1 minus the root of 5 divide what? 2. So we have been able to solve for all the values of x right here. So let's simply mark as the first value of x. So this is the first value of x. X is equals to -1. So the second value of x, we have that x is equals to 2. And we have the third and fourth values of x right here to be a complex root, which is x is equals to -1 plus the root of 5 divide 2, and x is equals to -1 minus the root of 5 divide 2. So we're going to say hence we have that x is equals to -1, x is equals to 2, x is equals to -1 plus the root of 5 divide 2, and x is equals to -1 minus the root of 5 divide 2, and this becomes the values of x. So guys, this is how you can solve this nice maths Olympiad problem, and we have been able to find all the values of x. So with this guys, I'm going to see you in the next video.